module Intrepid is on the moon, but it's been a very, very hard day's work for the two astronauts, Conrad and Bean. And it's a day that leaves now in our minds two questions. The first question is, why did the television cameras fail? The second, and perhaps the more important of the two, there are now two very, very tired men inside that lunar module. What have been the effects of working under weightless conditions or under the conditions of 1/6 gravity? How will that affect their performance tomorrow? Because they have still one more day's work to go on the moon. But first, James Burke.
Well, there's no doubt that from an engineering point of view, from the point of view of the men in mission control who sent a mission to the moon, today was a day that was absolutely copybook. The mission went exactly according to timetable, the landing was perfect, every single part of the spacecraft that had to function in certain vital moments functioned perfectly at those vital moments, and the thing from their point of view was a total success. With me in the space studio throughout this day, and it's been quite a day, listening and commenting and watching the events were Kurt Michael, our scientist astronaut, Patrick Moore, our moon expert, and Geoffrey Pardoe, a space engineer. And the day began for us at just after 5 o'clock this morning, when coming round from behind the moon on their 13th orbit, the command module first, and then a few minutes later, the lunar module, the day began and went on successfully through the touchdown at 7:54, Conrad on the moon at 12:44, 1:14 in the afternoon, Bean came out, and at 4:28, the astronauts had completed a successful EVA-1 and were back in Intrepid. But as I said, the day began for us at just after 5 o'clock this morning, when a totally successful and indeed almost enjoyable by the sound of it undocking maneuver, when the lunar module began to plunge down away from the command module. And in the first moments, nothing than a slight bump of the soft undocking.
Okay, here you go again.
The module moving away very, very slowly against the background of the moon. The docking tunnel clearly visible in the top, and 3 of the 4 legs splayed out as we looked down on what was in a vertical position to be the top of the lunar module. And then on the next revolution, they opened up the taps, they opened up the engine, and down they went after the descent orbit insertion. Again, a burn by the descent engine to pull them out of orbit and down towards the landing site, absolutely perfectly. And what were your comments on that, Patrick, at the time?
Well, it seems quite incredible. After all, this was perhaps, well, undoubtedly the most perfect landing that ever has been made. And I think it speaks terribly well, not only for the actual mechanism itself, but also for the men who flew it. And quite clearly, as they went down to the moon, they were completely relaxed and completely confident in a way that no one else has really been.
Preste atenção. Preste atenção. Que os polícia vem aí. Preste atenção. Senão um barraco vai cair. Preste atenção. Ou então daqui PT dali. Preste atenção. Cerrado é fogo no verde. Preste atenção. Que os polícia vem aí. Preste atenção. Senão um barraco vai cair. Preste atenção. Ou então daqui PT dali. Preste atenção. Cerrado é fogo no verde. Preste atenção.